You're listening to the Mile Marker Podcast, where we explore trends and innovations in fleet automation and shared mobility, helping fleet-based businesses make better informed decisions and achieve full digital transformation. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Mile Marker Podcast. My name is Angela Simoes. Today's guest is Ed Garston, reporter veteran who has been covering the automotive industry for more than 45 years, spanning broadcast and print journalism and social media. He served as CNN correspondent and bureau chief, national automotive correspondent for the Associated Press, and automotive writer for the Detroit News. He also spent some time on the inside, leading Fiat Chrysler's electronic communications group from 2005 to 2016. And now he's a Forbes Contributor, integrated media consultant at Franco PR, and hosts the podcast Tales from the Beat. So welcome, Ed. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Angela. Hi, thank you. Thanks so much. It's great to be with you, and I really appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. When you read all that, is it kind of like, wow, I didn't realize we had done so much. It's been a long
Now
career.
I feel old. No, no.
Right.
I'm thinking, wow, that guy had a pretty fun life.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, and that's not even my life before automotive. I did radio and local news out in Arizona and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's been fun, and here in my semi-retirement and contributing to Forbes a few stories a month just keeps the gray matter from turning to jello. So it's
Right.
been a lot of
Right.
fun.
Well, and so after 45 years of covering the automotive industry, I mean,
Yeah,
really, the amount of change that you've seen,
yeah.
it's just been astronomical.
Mm,
What do you, and there's so much change happening now, right? In the
yeah,
last,
sure.
5, 10 years, and even I
Hmm.
feel like every week it's hard to
Yeah,
keep up with everything that's
it is
going on.
something. Yeah, right.
What's the most exciting thing happening for you in the industry right now?
You know, I think just that the pure technology that's in a vehicle now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we call them software defined vehicle. I mean, they're computers on wheels, and they can do things and do things by themselves that we never dreamed of before. And I think that's so exciting, and especially because not even talking to the automakers, but I talk a lot to young people at technology startups that are dreaming up these
Okay.
ideas that the OEMs are picking up on. And sometimes, you see companies like GM and Ford or whatever, they're buying into these companies because they're going, well, these are great ideas. We want these for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. But I think that's the most exciting thing is that it seems like every week um, talking to some young, brilliant person that had a great idea and it's coming to fruition and it's showing
Mm-hmm.
up in our cars in one way or another, whether it's through chip technology,
Mm-hmm.
electronic control units, or even cybersecurity, which is so important for our cars now. So I think that's the most exciting thing is just that the rate of innovation coming from outside of your typical automotive cities.
I think it's a great point because I think you're also then seeing um, some of the automotive technology. So for let's take autonomous driving systems, right?
Yeah,
And billions have been invested in developing those,
yeah,
and we're getting there. I think depending on who you ask, will we
yeah.
have a fully autonomous society? In
Mm-hmm.
our lifetime, probably not, but
Mm-hmm.
100 years in the future,
Right.
maybe.
Never know, right?
But the technology is there and it is helping with things like lane assist, and there are some
Oh yeah.
really functional autonomous features, but you're seeing that now get into other industries such as aviation,
Yes.
shipping, some marine technology. I mean, so now to your point, the lines are blurred, right? It's no
Oh yeah.
longer, oh, this is an automotive technology, this is for enterprise
Right.
technology. It's all kind of converging and coming together.
Yeah.
What have you seen as far as like some of the technology developed for automotive now moving into other places?
Well, things like I mean, even things as simple. as things we take for granted today, like over-the-air updates.
Right.
It's like, wow, you don't have to bring your car into the shop. Well,
Hmm.
who's developing those? I mean, they haven't necessarily come from Detroit or from Japan or South Korea or Germany. These are startups that are creating systems
Hmm.
so that you can update your car up remotely, and so that they're secure, so that hackers can't get into these updates and do things to your car. I mean, we saw that case several years ago that Rolling Stone put out, where hackers took control of a Jeep. And now the technology is there from outside the auto industry uh, to make our cars electronically
Hmm.
safer and more secure. So it's stuff like that. I mean, there's a company that I've written about several times called Cibros,
Right.
and that's
Okay.
that's that's what they do. Their whole thing is to create a standard so that you can do over-the-air updates and not get hacked, and to make it easier for the automakers to do these updates through a standardized system. And
Hmm.
that's nothing that's gonna come out of here. It's gonna come from somewhere else where people have that expertise and are thinking about those sort of things. I mean, even when um, I was driving a Cadillac Escalade equipped with GM Super Cruise, right? So that's an
Hmm.
autonomous system. And the first time I took it on a freeway and had the automated lane assist, and I pulled up next to a semi trailer. And just for the fun of it, I looked at the guy. I took my hands off the wheel. I engaged Super Cruise, took my hands off the wheel, and looked at this guy in the cab of a semi trailer who thought I was insane. And then I
Uh-huh.
just sort of touched the blinker, and then the Escalade pulled over into the right lane in front of safely in front
Uh-huh.
of the semi trailer with no hands. But all that
Wow.
stuff comes
Yeah.
from these geniuses, whether they're in Silicon Valley or anywhere in the country
Hmm.
or the world, that are coming up with these things that the automakers say, I can use this and create a quality experience
Hmm.
for our customers and have something else to add. And really, Angela, and maybe we'll talk about this later, but even these ADAS systems that are keeping
Hmm.
us safer through automatic braking and blind spot detection, things like that. So, but all that is coming from elsewhere in the universe.
Right. And when you start to add all these features into a car, it's
Yeah.
not, yes, it's about safety and having a better driving experience, but then, the
Mm-hmm.
OEMs start to think, oh, well, then we can start to add other services into the car,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so now there's all these new business opportunities, and
Right.
now we're starting to see business models change, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, not just from the services, but now more direct sales, maybe
Yes.
following the Tesla model,
Right.
subscription, car sharing,
Subscriptions. Oh
these kinds of
yeah.
things. So, what's your thought on all of that and how the OEMs are now having to kind of look at the
Mhm.
future and say, how are we going to do things a little differently, right?
Yeah,
How do we take advantage of all of this?
sure. Well, I mean, just selling vehicles is isn't
That's not the
enough.
game anymore, right?
It's
Yeah.
not enough. It's like, what can we do with these computers that are transporting people wherever they want to go? So yeah, I mean, I the first time I ever interviewed someone from Amazon regarding Internet of Things services that that they can provide for cars and create these business opportunities, as you say. Subscription services are huge
Hmm.
for automakers. I mean, that's a form of revenue that they could
I've done
never have
before.
before this. I mean, you go all the way back to I think the original one that I can think of is OnStar and things like
Right.
that. Uh, and I worked for many versions of Chrysler where they had the Uconnect service, and there was also a subscription level. But now, I mean, it's limitless of what you can sort of charge for I mean, I'd hate to say it bluntly, but yeah, they're finding out
Mm-hmm.
ways to
Mm-hmm.
charge people for stuff. I mean, look, BMW is charging people for heated seats. That didn't go over real well, but
Right.
it's just that you're saying, well, we can do this, so let's give it a shot and see who's going to bite. And people are. I mean, they're finding it's just like your streaming services. Instead of buying the full cable package, you
Mm-hmm.
buy services that you want and would enjoy and need. So yeah, I mean, it's through this technology that all that is possible, and automakers are finding that yeah, this is a revenue stream that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily cost a lot of money to provide. There's not You don't have that
Not
whole
a lot of overhead.
overhead
Mm-hmm.
from a manufacturing infrastructure. It's all something you could add into the computational abilities of a vehicle. So I think that's something that they're going to push as far as you can. I mentioned Super Cruise. Well, that's a subscription service. You
Mm-hmm.
can have it or you can't have it if you don't want to pay for it. So customers now have so many options of the capabilities that they can have in their vehicles if they're willing to pay for it. So I think that's really the key the key form of extra revenue now for automakers, as well as, of course, providing vehicles that people want. But
Mm-hmm.
there's only only so much that people can pay.
Right.
So and will pay. So these are low cost extras where you can make more revenue.
Right. And what's your thoughts on the changing attitudes of consumers towards car ownership? If you read some reports
Yeah,
that Gen Z doesn't really care about owning a
right.
car. And so,
Yeah,
they're going to just lease a different vehicle every 6 months so that they kind of always
right.
have the latest and greatest. And,
Yeah,
or maybe people can't afford, the full purchase of a car. So what are your
sure.
thoughts on that and how that is going to also affect how OEMs
Hmm.
sell or lease, or
Yeah,
maybe there's a car sharing fleet, maybe it's a subscription, a
right.
car subscription. I know there's been some mild success, others not so much. It's
Yeah.
I don't know who's really cracked the model on that one, but
The subscription model hasn't really been all that successful because I mean what it comes down to is you're still
right,
renting a car,
right.
and so people aren't really differentiating between that. It's funny, Angela. Gen Z people from later studies now are finding that as they get older, they're finding that now, oh, maybe the convenience of owning a vehicle
Oh,
isn't
they're changing their tune. Okay,
isn't
makes
isn't
sense.
so bad. Well, they're starting to have families a little bit later in life than say we might have, but they're finding that I want to go somewhere now. I need to go somewhere now. The child is sick. I need to go to urgent care. I can't screw around, calling for an Uber or whatever. I
Right.
need to go. I need to run out for milk. So yeah, they're slowly warming to the fact that ownership is something that's very convenient now. When it comes to affordability, that's still a problem. Now we've seen affordability just this year. The affordability average transaction price now has come down from its record of 50 grand. But that's because automakers now are starting to understand that yes, they're making most of their profit from big pickup trucks and full size SUVs and full featured SUVs, but they need now to step back and bring back into their product line the levels that they took away,
Mm-hmm.
and also add more incentives and make it possible for people to enter the market that couldn't be before. They had to pull back on incentives and during COVID when production was low and they didn't have anything to sell. But now they do,
Mm-hmm.
and they're finding that yeah, if they want people to come back into the market, they've got to create the financing and the cash back on the hood that they were offering before the pandemic, and we had a record sales in the country of over 17 million vehicles. So it's starting to come back around. And I think you're seeing automakers now considering uh, bringing smaller or at least more affordable vehicles back into their product line.
Well, and then there's also the balance of um, still producing ICE vehicles that are affordable
Yeah.
and then introducing
Yes.
affordable EV models, right?
Yeah.
Because now you have this dynamic of, well, the EV hype is sort of slowed down, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of
Mhm.
research being done on alternative fuels, hydrogen, right?
Right.
So it may not be the all electric
Mhm.
everywhere the way some people predicted, a few
Oh
years
no.
ago.
Yeah.
There may be some combination now of
Sure.
electric, plug-in hybrid,
Mhm.
hydrogen, fuel cell, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So the OEMs are, kind of, which way do you go? Like, do you make
Well,
an affordable version of all three? I don't know. What are you hearing from
yeah.
OEMs
I,
that are trying to figure that out?
well, I think they and I use GM as the prime example because they were the ones, oh, we're gonna be completely EV and we're gonna do this. And uh and they found out that they miscalculated terribly, especially when they said they were going to take the Bolt out of production. And here they were selling, well,
Yeah,
they're selling
the
Hummers
car
over
can't
100.
die, right?
Yeah, $100,000 Hummer. Is that how I'm going to become an EV buyer? I don't think so.
No.
The Cadillac, the Lyric, that's expensive. Then they come up with this 300,000 plus customized Celestiq Cadillac. And go, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Who's buying this stuff?
It's such a
And oh, I'm
small
going to take the,
segment of the
yeah.
population. Yeah.
And they were going to take the Bolt out of production so they could convert the factory to build pickup trucks. Well, they learned it the hard way. It's like
Mm.
people love the Bolt. They love the Bolt.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've driven one. They're awesome.
I haven't.
They're they're fun to drive. I drove one that had Super Cruise on I-75 between Detroit and Toledo, and it was just performed perfectly. And so now, of course, now they're talking about a new generation of Bolt,
Mm.
uh, so that people with a normal income that want to go EV can actually enter that part of the market. And you're seeing the other automakers as well. Creating a fuller portfolio of EVs so people that want to do it don't have to pay
Hmm.
such a high premium. I mean, there is a premium for sure, but they don't have to. This $120,000 Hummer.
Yeah.
What the hell are they thinking? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that they're trying now in sort of on resetting their portfolio to see if they can get more people to make the switch. But still, it's still a tough sell for some.
Yeah. And I think you're seeing that with lots of different automakers, right? That
Yeah.
uh, all these projections about going all electric, by
Yeah.
2030. And, it's
Mhm.
just, I think
Right.
we all quickly realize the infrastructure just isn't even there to support it.
No.
Even if you did want to try and go all
Right.
electric
Yeah.
by 2030, not everybody is going to be able to charge, and our grid can't handle it. So
Right.
there was like many new technologies, a lot of hype and a lot of, just like with autonomous
Sure.
technology, oh, we're going to have full
Yeah.
self-driving cars, on the road,
Hmm.
within the next 10 years. And I
Oh yeah.
personally don't think that's going to happen. But
No.
uh it's you're talking about affordability, but there's also the
Yeah.
reliability, right? So it's like,
Right.
the Toyota Corolla, the
Hmm.
Honda Civic, like these are cars that people know it's a
Yes.
good price, it's going to last me forever. If I ever
Right.
want to resell it, it's going to get a good resale price. And I think
Absolutely.
right now, I think Tesla really is the only one that
Mhm.
has anything close to that as far as reliability, affordability, and good resale price. So it's, do you feel like
Yeah.
all the automakers are going to be playing catch up to Tesla just for a
Oh
long
sure.
time?
I think so. And beside it, Tesla having its own culture, and
Mm-hmm.
that's its another thing all by itself. But they
Right.
do take care of their customers, and the customers do feel special. I know I live in suburban Detroit, and about 3 miles from me, they're building what was once a Barnes and Noble bookstore. I think before that, a bowling alley. They're building this is a giant Tesla service center.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just for Tesla. And they're taking care of. They already have the best recharging
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they're doing it right, but they also had the luxury of only doing
Being the only ones, right?
the
Yeah.
EV. They're not doing a full line like uh, any of the traditional legacy
True.
automakers, if you will. So they're a different animal altogether. But when it comes to electric vehicles, yeah, I mean they're the best. And sure, they've had their issues with their autonomous driving system that's not really
Mm-hmm.
autonomous, and there have been unfortunately some tragedies regarding that, and they've had their issues as well and growing pains. But you know, Angela, it's not that I think people looking at this whole thing with electric vehicles a little uh, a little skewed because so much of it, so much of it is just being honest with people
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
educating them. And you see some of this now where people are going, oh, I only get 250 miles on a charge. You go, yeah, well, how much do you drive in a day? Normal driving if you're not going on a road trip.
Road trip. Right.
You know what? How much you get on a tank of gas? In city driving,
Absolutely.
in
Yeah,
city dri-
absolutely.
that's what you're getting. I'm sorry, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And you could charge up at home. You don't even have to go to the gas station for your everyday commute. If you're able to
Right.
do that, you see these services that are coming up that are trying to provide charging for people that live in apartments that
Mm-hmm.
don't have the luxury of a garage. So I think you have to be honest with people and educate them properly and get them in the right mindset to say, okay, yeah, it's a big change. It's a big change, but for everyday driving, it's not it's not really that different. If you're going to take a long trip, yeah, it does take more planning.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to go out of your way, and that's something that you need to consider. Uh, but until the recharging infrastructure catches up, which who knows if it'll ever do that. But it's hard. People have habits. They have a comfort level. They
Right.
don't they don't they just don't want to change. So, but I think it's just a true honesty with people about what it's really like, and I think the best way to do that is to make these vehicles available and have them experience them,
Right.
and create programs where you can experience an EV and not go through all the hype and all the noise that you see out there. Is
Right.
just find out, be truthful. That's all. Just give people a chance to experience them.
It's a great point because, it feels like every day there's conflicting news reports, right? That,
Yeah.
EVs can save you money, they're actually good for the environment. And the next one, they're actually more expensive, they're
Yeah.
really bad for the environment to produce. I mean, so I think people are just maybe kind of waiting to see where it all
Sure.
plays out, or until they're actually forced to buy
Oh
an
yeah.
EV. But to your point, if they had an opportunity to drive one and
Hmm.
really had somebody to explain to them, this is how much you're going to save in gas.
Yeah.
This is, listen, if this is your commute, this is what's going to cost you to charge or not charge,
Right.
right? Because if you're
Yeah.
not, like if so I bought a Volkswagen and we have 3 years of free charging with Electrify America. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's still a deal, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
certainly helped our bottom line
Right.
quite a bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I think about how much we used to pay in gas on a
Hmm.
weekly basis. So I
Yeah.
think to your point, it's an excellent point that just being more transparent with people, providing opportunities for people to experience
Sure.
driving electric,
Yeah.
and maybe helping them do the math, it could go a
Yeah.
long way. And then, I've often said that's really a great role for dealers to play.
Hmm.
And I don't know that a lot of them have taken it up
Right.
on, or taken
Yeah.
that role on, but that's where people go to look
That's
for new
right.
cars, right? So I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
mean,
you've had that experience.
when I worked for the many versions of Chrysler, I mean, one of the things that our marketing department did, we had these activations in various communities and just brought the full line out there, brought the
I just
cars
did like a
out to
test
the
drive.
people and said, hey, come on out. You don't have to go to the dealer and don't feel the pressure and
Mm,
you know, you have to do any of this stuff. Not going to cost you a nickel. Just come on out and drive the stuff. Sit in the seat, feel what it's like to drive this. And hopefully our cars will be in your consideration. But I think
hmm
that's the thing. You can't do it at an auto show. The cars are sitting there. I know in the auto shows they're trying to have some of these outside activations, and that's
hmm
wonderful. But I think that the OEMs and the dealership networks really need to be much more aggressive in getting people to have that experience, a firsthand experience, and see what it's really like and learn what it's really like. And I think they would, you might see some people just never get changed, but I think you're going to see some of the sentiment change.
I think it's a great point. I 100% agree. I happened to go cold turkey switch from an
Mhm.
ICE vehicle to an EV.
Yeah.
Having never driven an EV before, I just
Hmm.
kind of threw caution to the wind
Right.
and did it.
Hmm.
But I can tell you that had I test driven an EV earlier, right,
Yeah.
years before, I probably
Hmm.
would have bought an EV much sooner
Yeah.
than I did. I
And this,
held off and held off and held off. And to your point,
yeah,
had I experienced it, I probably would have bought one
right.
sooner.
And they're so fun to drive.
They
They're
are.
so,
It's like a souped
I,
up golf cart, is how I
yeah,
say it.
you hit the pedal and boom, you're gone.
Boom. Yep.
And I mean, what a great rush. So I don't have any V yet. I am still, but my next one just might. My cars are new, so I'm not ready to change yet. But
hmm
um, I love them. I love them, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to have one of my own.
They're really great.
Yeah,
Before we wrap up,
yeah,
I wanted to go back to the OEMs and new business models that they're exploring, and kind of back to the
yeah.
car sharing issue,
Right.
because there are a couple of services that are out there and I think doing pretty well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Stellantis has Free to Move,
Mhm.
Toyota has their Kinto brand,
Yeah.
and then you're also seeing some partnerships with like Ford and Uber.
Yeah.
Actually, Uber is driving these partnerships, right? So it's Uber with
Right.
Ford and Atsu. I think you just wrote about
Atsu.
that
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
Um, do you see those as like they're test cases to see how
Yeah.
this works out? And then do you see that growing? Do you see other automakers doing something similar?
Yeah.
How do you see
I
that?
do. I do. I mean, yeah, I just wrote about the Uber and Atsu
Mm-hmm.
partnership
Mm-hmm.
that they announced last week, and it's genius because for one, it makes vehicles available uh, to people at a low cost. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Atsu is $8 an hour for an Uber driver, and they can rent it for I think it's a maximum of 15 hours a day.
Okay.
Um, so it's genius because it gets the vehicles out on the road, makes money, puts people in the seat of the vehicle. Now, right, they're paying for their own test drive in effect, and you're creating greater exposure out on the streets for these vehicles. People can see them. And if you're an Uber customer, now you're riding in an EV and you go, oh, I never rode an EV before. It's pretty cool. Tell me
Mm-hmm.
about it. And then they get talking with the Uber driver. So, oh, this is fun. You know, this is how much money I'm saving. So I think it's an ingenious marketing ploy on multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see it spreading because I don't see the downside to it.
Well, and then also if you think about it, not only are you exposing more riders to EVs, maybe they had never
Mhm.
ridden in one before, but
Right.
then if an Uber driver, let's say they've rented a couple of different ones, I really
Yeah.
like that one the best. I'm actually purchase one, so it actually
Right.
might
Yeah.
drive some purchases, right? So
Right.
very cool. Yeah, I could see the attractiveness of a program like that, even if you're maybe not renting by the hour, but if
Mhm.
you have short-term leases,
Yes.
that could be attractive. So yeah, you
Oh
always have a
yeah.
brand new car, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of
It,
cool.
sure. I mean, it gets the stuff out there and exposure and use and experiences and
Hmm.
no amount of advertising is going to get you that.
Right,
It really at no cost.
right.
So I think it's just ingenious.
Well, we're just about to wrap up. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you think is kind of really kind of high on the list of important things to consider in the automotive industry right now?
I think that one thing we're learning, and we learned this through the pandemic, through this whole move to online and
Hmm.
digital sales, is that I think that people are going to find that their experience now buying vehicles is going to be much better because the dealers really went to school on this. They learned that people don't want to spend 3 hours in the store and waiting for the finance guy and doing all this and going through hell just to buy a car. And
Hmm.
I think that's one of the most positive things to come out of the last few years is streamlining the whole purchasing and financing process
Process.
and
It's a great
the
point.
process now of buying a car. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna do it online. I hate going to dealer." Well, that maybe they're not going to hate going to the dealer so much anymore. And the fact is, and you see consumer surveys, people really do want the personal relationship with the dealership. And now it's just not so. It's just not so brain busting to sit there
And
for 3 hours and go,
arduous,
"My
yeah.
God, my life is going away." Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And you're right. Being able to kind of customize your vehicle online, and then really you're
yeah,
just picking up the
mhm,
vehicle at the dealer, and then you get that
yeah.
personalized service, and
Oh yeah,
and you are taking it back for servicing. But yeah, it's a great point. So thanks for bringing that up.
you bet.
Well, we're gonna wrap up with a lightning round to make it fun, if you're
Okay,
okay with that. Sounds
yeah,
good. All
yeah,
right. So
sure.
just five quick questions,
Okay,
meant to be fun. So, what was
yeah.
your dream car as a kid?
My dream car, absolutely. This white convertible Corvette Stingray.
Ooh, nice.
And I worked at this department store in high school, and the security guy was this ultra cool security guy. He was a good looking dude, and he had all the chicks, and he'd always have one in his white Corvette Stingray convertible, and he'd pull out of the parking lot, and I want to be that guy, and I want that car, and it was awesome. But
That's awesome.
that was,
And
yeah.
things like that will leave an impression on you as a kid. I can understand that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I wanted that car for forever until it just wasn't practical for my life anymore.
Right, right.
So
Okay, will our society ever be fully electric?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Um, Not because people don't want them. I think that there's still you're using natural resources to create batteries, and it's not a finite supply,
Hmm.
and you still have to provide the energy to create the electricity to charge up these things. So we're still using natural resources, which are not finite. And I think you're going to find that the world is going to come to see that sooner than later and say that, you know what, um, maybe there's just not enough, I'll just say, stuff to go around to power every single vehicle with a battery.
Right.
Uh, yeah,
Well, and I think there's also just certain applications where
yeah,
electric doesn't make sense, right? It's just
yeah.
not practical. So,
Certain climates is not good for certain climates.
right. Exactly.
Um, and the batteries still, I mean, right now there's still a problem with spontaneous combustion.
Hmm.
So you do have a safety issue in some cases. So no, I I don't see it ever being 100% electric.
Agreed. What about autonomous? Will we ever be fully autonomous?
I don't think so on that either. And I'll tell you what, this is much simpler. A lot of people just like to drive.
Hmm.
They
I'm
enjoy
one of them.
driving.
I'm
Yeah,
one
I
of
do
them.
too. I love to
Hmm.
drive. I love to drive. I would never want to delegate that to a bot. Um, People just love driving. And
Hmm.
so I think that there'll always be conventional type of vehicles. You might have more technology assisting you like we have today,
Hmm.
much more technology assisting you, but I don't think we'll ever be 100% autonomous. No.
And what's been the best innovation in the automotive industry that you've seen over the past 20 years?
Okay, just 20 years. I was going to say if you went back further, if you
We
went
can go
back
back further,
further,
sure.
I would say the intermittent windshield wiper and the cup holder that squeezes to hold your drink from tipping over. But in the last 20 years, I think for sure, onboard navigation and ADAS systems, the advanced driver assistance systems, for sure. I mean, those things have increased safety so much and probably saved so many lives and injuries
Yep.
uh, because of the warnings and the automatic braking that they collision avoidance they provide. So I think really those two in the last 20 years.
I would agree 100%. I thank God for my GPS system every day.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, finally, would you take a trip to the moon if domestic space travel became a thing?
Well, could I use my Sky Miles?
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they give me a cookie along the way, um,
Sure.
I would love to. I would love to,
Really.
and just to see the world from a unique perspective, and to really understand that we're not alone in
Hmm.
this universe, because I really don't believe we're alone in this universe. But and also I'd feel lighter because of the
True.
gravity. I don't weigh as much, so that'd be nice. But yeah, sure, in a heartbeat, I'd go.
Wow, you're braver than I am. I'm a
Yeah,
scaredy cat. I'm
is
very
that
much a scaredy cat when it comes to that. I know the getting there just seems
yeah?
so rough, you know? I don't know.
Right. Well, at least you wouldn't have to change planes in the middle. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true, right? There's
Yeah,
no connecting flight.
no
You
connecting.
can
Yeah,
get there.
right.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Well, thank you so much, Ed. This has been a really fun conversation and also I think enlightening in many ways. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Angela. It's been a guess, and I really do appreciate the invitation. It's fun talking with you.
Excellent. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Mile Marker Podcast. If you liked what you heard today, give us a like, share this episode on social media, and even take a minute to give us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can join us for future episodes full of insights and ideas to keep the mobility industry moving forward.